So, my name is Logan Wolf. I'm a founder and CEO of ORNA. I have here Jana Krukov and Martin Gill, who are amazing co-founders. I speak from experience. I've started a few companies in the past, some more successful than others. And the team honestly makes or breaks a business, and this team makes a business. So just want to say thank you. Go on record. This is live. I can never take this down.
Somebody's got to be recording this.
and recorded for playback.
Oh no! Once the cat is out of the bag, you can't put the cat in the bag. Actually, you can. You can totally put cat in the bag. Anyway, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. All right. Anyway, so thank you, folks. It's been a fantastic journey, and like I said, I just wanted to outline that. So ORNA is a cybersecurity. It's a SaaS. We're a SaaS company, right? So specifically Source, that's security orchestration, automation, and response platform. But with a twist, it's like a martini with a twist. So the twist is not an orange peel in this case, but our relentless focus on small to medium-sized businesses, right? The whole deal here is that, well, if you've seen the press release, I mean, I pretty much preach the same thing. When larger companies and large enterprises, we're talking like IBMs of the world, Myers, companies like that, they can basically throw money at the cybersecurity platform issue or lack thereof, right? So that means, dedicated SOCs, right? Like, so that's security operation centers. That means, expensive platforms from like Palo Alto and Splunk, that used to be Demisto, but now Palo Alto bought it, and so on and so on. It's a very pricey approach. It's effective, but it takes a lot of money. But what is there for a small to medium-sized business to do? Like, if you're running a smaller company, you don't have the budget, for a SOC staffed with like 40 cybersecurity specialists. Perhaps you have a fairly small IT department, maybe it's even outsourced, right? Like, these businesses get attacked the most. One out of 5 of them experienced a damaging cyber attack last year. So what do, right? I mean, there isn't a lot to help them. Usually they turn to, MDR providers, right? Like, so managed detection response, which is part of the answer. It's a part of the puzzle, but it's not the whole puzzle. Well, we've created a dedicated platform that is priced very, very aggressively for small to medium-sized businesses, that punches well above its weight in terms of functionality and features. Right, so it's a full-fledged security orchestration, automation, response platform. It detects attacks, responds to attacks, has playbook, has compliance, has reporting, a bunch of collaboration features, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and we just plan to, quite frankly, revolutionize the cyber incident response game for small to medium-sized businesses with this platform. And on the MDR note, it actually works fantastically with MDR vendors. There are specific collaboration features of multi-tenancy, things like that. So I'm really happy we finally got some backing. We got people that believe in us. We got an amazing team, and we're just got together to apparently rant about social media and celebrate it in this call.
I would say celebrate mostly. I mean, we do a little.
Mostly
right?
celebrate. It's just like it's the morning and the clock is ticking, and then like
or the afternoon if you're this side of the water.
We keep
exactly.
Actually, I was having that conversation with someone today about, in the last 2.5 years, we probably haven't taken 5 minutes to actually take on board what we've achieved. Today is probably the first day where we've actually actioned what we've done in 2.5 years. Normally it's just another Thursday and Logan's asking where invoices are and Jana's saying, have you had this demo yet? And we've never had this sort of moment, even though it's only 15-30 minutes, just to kind of soak it in a little bit, because it's a milestone. And I've even gone and posted my first ever LinkedIn post today, and I hate posting. And it's even forced my hand there, so it must be a good day.
I'm gonna go down in history as the where's the invoice guy. It's the where are the invoices? Where are they?
I'll have PTSD afterwards.
So, I just.
Yeah, I wanted actually to use this opportunity real quick to share, I guess, the origins of ORNA, or rather the idea of ORNA, and why it came to life in the first place, right? So in our line of business, we often deal with cyber incidents, and more often than not, recently they've been happening to smaller and medium-sized businesses. And what we see after working with them is that way too often they are not equipped to handle any kind of cyber attack or even to prevent or detect one, not to mention respond to it in an efficient manner. And they often don't even know where to begin their cybersecurity journey. And that's why I am personally very excited about our risk management module in ORNA. But Logan, if you'd like, I can let you speak to it.
Oh, I can. No, I'm still getting used to Vimeo. Vimeo. Can you guys see my screen by any
We
chance?
can, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, so it's kind of like Zoom. All right. So I just thought I'd, throw this on the screen as you're describing it. The origin of the actual word, like some people think it's an abbreviation, as a matter of fact, because it's all caps. But actually, this just comes, from us being a bit of, history geeks. So what's ORNA is actually a sword from Irish legends that is said to recount the deeds done with it when it's unsheathed, right? So that goes really well with this whole sort of process-oriented approach, and the playbook generators and then the AI-powered playbooks, and that's how we came to this name. Honestly, everything good is taken. Like if anybody here who is attending is thinking of starting their own business, do it now and trademark the name. Literally, everything is taken. You gotta think that, well, I have this really unique company name in mind, and you're gonna Google it, and it's like some kid in Ohio already started a business with this name 3 years ago, and they haven't done anything with it, but they do have the business name pretty much locked in. So good luck with that.
It could be a business in itself. You just register a bunch of names and then you sell them to interested individuals who want to start a business.
It is a business. There's a whole platform that does that actually. And these business names range from like $300 to $20,000-$30,000 for some really good ones that comes with domains and so on. So guys, what's I was going to ask actually, what was the biggest learning, I guess, item on this entrepreneurial journey for you? Like for me personally, it was unplugging, right? So it's just so difficult to know when to stop working, especially when it's your own business, honestly, because there's, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll get this done, because it's never ending, right? And it's 9 p.m. and it's 10 p.m. and it's 11 p.m. and it's past midnight and you're still kind of working at it. And then it's very important, I think, to put a lid on that so that you don't burn out very, very quickly. That was my biggest, yeah. I mean, you know what? Sorry, quick disclaimer. Like, it sounds like one of those, trick interview questions where somebody's like, "What's your biggest weakness?" You're like, "I work too hard." Right? I love those. Honestly. Like, I was interviewing some, I think it was like interns or analysts, prospect analysts at Deloitte, and one of them said something like that. It was really difficult not to facepalm. So it's very interesting, but it can be a real problem.
So I'll take this one as well, Logan. Next, if you don't mind, Yana. So Yana and I spoke about this the other day. The biggest one for me, given our situation, has been time zones. So I'm 5 hours behind you guys, and I know we're all in Toronto next month, which will be great, and the first time since COVID that we've had some physical time together. But one is time zones, and then linked into that is cultural differences. The cultural differences and the language between Canada and the UK, and though I've spent time in Canada, particularly with yourself, Logan, it's still one of those things for me from our journey that has been one of the biggest challenges. I'm starting work and you guys are still in bed for the next 5 hours, and there may be something that I really want to soundboard about, and I don't have you guys around till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. By that time, you're coming in to at least 4 pages of Slack messaging, where I've had no one to talk to, so I've had to type it out. So I think for me that's been the biggest challenge, but it's also been the best part of this for me is learning how you guys work, how things work in North America versus Europe. It's been amazing. I've genuinely loved it, but there has been moments where I've wanted to get you out of bed just to chat.
Well, I agree. Well, luckily, you're going to be here for Collision, right?
Yeah.
And again, for folks joining this podcast, what is this event? Fireside chat. Collision is one of the hottest entrepreneurial innovation tech events, taking place in any given year. This year it's in Toronto. It's June 20th to 23rd. We have a booth there. We're going to get highlighted. We're going to, participate in the pitch competition. They're going to be interactive demos, interactive content. Do show up. They have amazing speakers all the time too, like this Kevin O'Leary, this Justin Trudeau. There's like David Beckham there for some reason, and so on. But basically, this is your chance to rub shoulders with celebrities. Anyway, it's a great event. Do show up and say hi to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually very excited for Collision. And for
and what was it for you? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my challenge, and I literally just had it in my head right the second before you asked me again, and now it's out. So I can definitely relate to Martin's time difference challenge. And yes, I actually do like waking up to those slide novels to read in the morning. This is my
there you go.
morning reading with coffee. So it's actually been quite entertaining. Yeah, but aside from the obvious, the work-life balance challenges, I think one of the most interesting for me was that I have to accept that I will not have a day when absolutely everything, all of my tasks are done. Just day to day living with the understanding that there will always be something in the backlog, something coming up every single day that may be urgent, priorities shifting. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest, challenges. Yeah, with the entrepreneurial startup life. But it's I call them growth pains, and I think that that's a very good thing to experience. While challenging, I think that's exactly what makes you learn how to prioritize and how to manage your time. So that's fun.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you have to wear a lot of hats also, right? Like that's another thing. Working at a larger company, somebody comes to you, asks to, I don't know, design some UI element, and you're like, I'm not a designer. Talk to, Erica or whoever you have on staff as a designer. And at a startup, you're like, well, I'm gonna have to do it because, there's nobody else. So I think that type of responsibility is something that's pretty daunting in the beginning, but then it does help you really grow as a leader and as a professional when you start a company. Everybody should start a business. You'll like everybody who's in the comment, go start a business. Sell socks. Okay,
but not you, Ellie. But not you, Ellie, because
Ellie, you stay.
Yeah.
Please, if you work at ORNA, then ignore this. Like this point is not for you. Do stay with ORNA, right? Like you get stock options. It's really good stuff.
Rishi also contributed to the question, Logan. He says, thought on handling the FOMO when it comes to opportunities or product features or TGMs and so on as a challenge.
Yeah, so Ellie, so Rishi, yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually, if it relates to the product, for example, then I would refer to this something like scope creep, right? Like you always have to determine, like prioritize what features you want to deploy, things like that. But yeah, I think especially once they're in the entrepreneurial community, perhaps you're part of business incubators and stuff. A lot of folks will ask you to join their company, or they want to join your company, that sort of thing, right? And filtering, the good opportunities from the bad opportunities can also be a whole other layer to this. I think that's. I hope that's addressing the question.
I think it wasn't a question if he was just sharing his own experience with us.
Well, I can definitely relate. I mean, even when like with ORNA, right? Like we have a fantastic roadmap, but from quantum cryptography features to blockchain features to enhanced AI and so on, right? But yeah, prioritizing these in a way that we really build a product that is progressively more and more useful is a curveball, she says. Yeah, I think that's been challenging, but luckily, again, we have a fantastic development team. As a matter of fact, led by Rishi and Yana here. So,
I think we are losing Martin at this point.
Sorry,
Martin, there you
guys.
go.
Work calls.
Right. Speaking of the
Not a
challenges and time management.
Challenges of time management. But thank you everyone for joining in, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the rest of what Logan and Jana have got to say. And as I put in the chat, hopefully get to meet and speak to a host of you, all of you, over the coming months and time we've got with ORNA in the next stage of what we're developing. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Martin.
much,
Thank you very
Martin.
much. I mean, I'll stay on for a few minutes more because we started late in this whole Vimeo thing. Obviously the next LinkedIn life is going to be a bit smoother than that. I just can't get over it. I honestly expected them to host the webinar. Like, what's the point if you need an external anyway? So it's so ridiculous. I literally cannot wrap my head around this stuff. But it's just a cop out. They're like, oh, we're introducing streaming features, and then there are no streaming features. You just have to paste a link to another platform. That's great. No, I was going to touch on quantum cryptography here as well. So I think any cybersecurity platform or vendor are going to see a major shift in how we approach technology and how we think about cybersecurity in the next 3 to 5 years, I'd say the latest. So why that threshold? I'm talking about the commercialization of quantum computing, right? And then the type of impact it's going to have on cybersecurity, it's going to be profound, right? So when it comes to quantum, I mean, in terms of computing power, in terms of things like cracking encryption or passwords or pins, things like that, it's going to be an absolute game changer. And I've been spending some of my evenings reading white papers on quantum cryptography and how to address that, researching companies that are emerging in this field. But I really do think this is going to be akin to effectively an industrial revolution, the next industrial revolution in the next couple of years. So I think technology startups, including ORNA, need to be ready for these challenges. We need to know what the challenges are or what they will be, and we need to be ready to, well, I guess, essentially pivot to address them.
Yeah, we have a question from Rishi. Yeah, funniest questions asked during the fundraise. You mostly dealt with the fundraising activities most from our team, so I think I will divert that question to you. Although I'll think of something if I can remember.
Okay, well, it was more like a request, I suppose. The funniest question we had in general, referring to business, is we had. We have a live chat feature on the website, and then at some point we had an individual request, like if ORNA handles accidents, and our customer support was like, well, what kind of attack have you experienced? And it turns out the person was in a car accident. So then we had to say that you should probably contact your insurance provider and potentially the police department because ORNA does not handle car accidents. But funniest question during race. Well, there was a request, right? So there's one individual who requested me to provide 3 years of audited financial statements to them from a previous business that I used to run, which I thought was interesting, especially considering this is a seed round fundraise and we've only existed at that point for about 2-3 months as a company. So I guess you really have to be ready for just about everything. So it wasn't like haha funny, but definitely more like an eyebrow, fish hook in the eyebrow type of thing. Like,
Yeah, I'd say we've been lucky to deal with very competent investors. So all our conversations with them were serious and productive. It's hard to come up with something that was out of ordinary.
That's true. Well, I mean, and we got fantastic backing, right? Like, so we've raised this round from 9 investors across the US and Canada, primarily angels or angel groups, right? So, VC backing usually a bit too early for that. You want to go to Series A, for VCs. But so really just want to extend huge thanks to, in particular, WGG Capital Canada, led by Herbert Madan, to Astia Angels, and to Angel and David and Victoria there in particular, as well as Sapphire Holdings as well. So Absolutely fantastic, folks, and thank you very much for placing your trust in us. I don't know if you're listening, but it is being recorded, so.
Watch the recording later. I think I just had one final thought to share here on this session. It was more of a learning experience for me, so not a challenge as an entrepreneur, but some valuable lessons that I've learned. And I mean, we've all heard it before said so many times, but you don't really understand it or believe it until you experience and you go through it personally. But what I've realized is that people and the team that you're working with is the absolute key to success. There is no way around it, that a lot of it depends on the team. So obviously I am super happy working with you, Logan, and with Martin together. But I wanted to extend this to the rest of the entire ORNA team, because every single individual that I've worked with so far have been very talented in their unique areas, very motivated and very helpful. And that entire feel that we have inside the company, even though we're located all over the world, we have individuals in the US, Canada, UK, we have Australia. Logan, keep me honest here, what other countries we might have. And with all of the time differences, I think so. With all of the time differences, we're still managing to, keep it very active. Somebody goes to bed, another person wakes up on the other end of the world to keep the conversation going. And that keeps up the spirit. And everyone is just following the same vision, sharing the same vision, sharing the same interests. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but a big portion of our team are actually avid car enthusiasts. So there is a lot of connection on a personal level there as well. So basically, all I'm saying is, the people, the team are the key in every situation. I just wanted to say big, tremendous thank you to everyone in ORNA now and in the past as well. So it's
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, obviously, no company survives without a fantastic team, right? Ask any entrepreneur, any business leader, and we do have one. Absolutely. So, despite the challenges of working, across, 3-4 different time zones in some cases, I think we're molding into quite an organization here, hopefully. On that note, it's been 30 minutes. Like I said, a bit of a fireside chat. We're not making any major announcements or anything else. I didn't want to make it into a sales opportunity either, to launch into like a product demo or anything like that would be bad faith, I think. So we just wanted to have this as a bit of a Q&A and kind of like meet and greet. And yeah, I am definitely going to be rethinking my approach to live events going forward. Well,
right.
Yeah, so I think we'll be checking out. And Jana, we still have Martin. Martin is like it does show up that he's here. Anyway, thank you both. Thank you, the attendees, Ellie, Rishi, Jay. Haven't seen anybody else. Mike Zilla also. So thank you, folks. And thanks for being with us.